My Jesus freak coworker cornered me at work to interrogated me about the death of my child. My husband and I had been trying for a baby for a year and a half before we got the terrible news that we had an extremely low chance of getting pregnant. Despite how crushing it was, we were still determined to create our family, and my husband got a second job just so we could save up for IVF. It was the happiest day of our marriage when one of the embryos finally took and I was finally successfully pregnant after years of trying. My husband kept his second job so we could be more financially stable for when the baby came, and I kept mine as well. I've worked in my same office job for 5 years now. The same year I got pregnant, my boss hired a new woman named Hannah. She seemed pleasant at first, but as she continued to work at my job I realized she was extremely religious and would bring God into almost every conversation. Though I didn't work with her very long until I left to start my maternity leave 2 months before I was due to give birth. My husband and I had planned everything down to the last detail, but unfortunately the day I gave birth would end up traumatizing the both of us for the rest of our lives. First of all, my water broke 3 weeks before I was due to give birth. Not only that, but when it did it was bright red, almost as if there was no water in it at all, just blood. I guess staring down into that blood I know something should have been wrong, but I just didn't want to believe it. I wanted my baby so bad. The rest of that day feels like a blur. My husband rushed me to the hospital and I ended up giving birth to my baby stillborn. We had loved her before we had even known her, and then never even got a chance to. I don't think there are words to explain the pain that we shared that day. They had to basically rip her little body out of my arms because I didn't want to let her go. I ended up having to stay in the hospital so they could make sure I healed all right after the traumatic birth, and I felt like a zombie who was only half alive. I didn't want to be in the world without my baby, but my husband and I did everything we could to cling to each other and mourn the death of our baby together.